And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have Creighton Hobbs with me, and this time he's going to be talking about his new film, The History That Haunts Us. He's been teasing about this all for quite a while, to be honest with you, ever
Mm-hmm.
since your last documentary film of How Many Chances.
Yeah.
And you said that you're going to be doing one more interview, so I got that one last interview on stereo, and then after that we moved that over into the audio format. So in case anybody's wondering where they can get that interview, all you have to do is just go on ahead and go down to the audio format of our podcast, and that's where you can find that episode. But Brian, welcome. I do appreciate you being
Thank
on.
you. Yeah, and for everybody watching, John is right. I am the biggest tease out there. The way that sounded real bad, but
Yeah,
it's true, So,
well, the good thing for me is I don't have an HR department to where I have to report you for sexual harassment, so that's actually a positive.
right,
So,
yeah, right.
but we
Hey,
do have a
everybody that's watching, and thank you for having me on your show, John.
of course, man.
It's fun. This is going to be great. So I'm
It definitely
excited.
is.
And you know what? You've been listening to all of the people. You're the eyes and ears of God. I feel like I'm campaigning for you or something. Like you're running for mayor. Yeah. Oh, no, that's a spoiler. But
Right.
but so you know what? Tell me what the people want to know.
Okay, so we have a couple of people in the live chat. I'm just going to say hello to them and everything. And if anybody has any questions later on, we'll go on ahead and get to that towards the end of the show. But let's see here. We have Buddy's Life. He says, Big C, gonna bring it. Bet this is the stuff that makes all the diff that when marketing and products. So
I know who that is.
Then we have Karen. She says, I'm glad I just woke up and now I get to watch it live before I have to go to work. I'm so glad that you made this a part of your night. And then Stephanie says that she's ready to watch this, and I'm glad that she's making this a part of her night as well. And that's everyone that we have. We also have High Gain, High Night, throwing up some emojis.
Throwing up the gang sign. I got you. I got street credit, Joe. I got street credit. Watch how many chances you'll know.
But yeah, man, it's great. It's been a while since I actually had you on and everything, and I know that we talked about doing this, and not only that, but I also helped you out with a little bit of the screenplay and things like that. I was a part of that. I do appreciate you letting me do that.
Oh, it's great.
But man, what have you been up to with the filming of this thing? I know I'm in the group and everything, but I don't want to spoil anything that's in the group or anything. You're the one that I need to go on ahead and have all eyes on. So tell me what you've been working on.
All right. So we have been working for a long time on this, and we're talking, but honestly, we're about, I would say 75% there of getting all the filming done. And, like at the current, that's percentage wise, where, what's filmed and this and that, and a bulk part of the editing. So it's kind of like when I'm not going around filming, I'm editing. I mean, like literally, if I'm not doing my regular business with, the filming, making phone calls and stuff like that, I'm editing. And there has been times, and I would say this publicly, like literally where I have just laid my head down on the editing desk and slept. I mean, seriously,
I can believe it.
I just slept, and then I would sleep, power nap. I'd wake up, go get coffee, and go right back at it. Like working 20-hour days, skipping meals, just boom. That's how much I am devoted to this. Not only film, but to the cast and crew, because I love them so much, and I love them just as equally as much as I love the fans and my family and my friends. So what I'm doing, I feel like I'm working for you, and I want to give you the best, most original thing that either you're going to be like, I love it, I want a sequel, or you're going to be like, did I really just waste over an hour of my life on this?
I'm sure people are not going to feel that way, to be honest with you, man.
Some of
You
them
do a
will.
great job.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
movies are
you.
subjective, anyways, but they
Oh
can just
yeah,
bite the bullet if they don't like it. That's the way I
yeah.
see it. But I
They
know
can
that
go
you
watch Hallmark. Yeah.
right. Everybody, that's not my favorite channel. But anyways, let's go. But the thing that I have to say is this: like Stephanie says, you are truly dedicated into what you're doing. You're passionate about what you're doing. You care about the cast and crew. The cast and crew. Let me just say this is just fantastic about how they treat you and everything and stuff like that. They treat you like their dad, basically, because they're always
Right.
telling you that you need to go on ahead, rest. You're like me when it comes down to the podcast, to be honest with you. I have people
Yep.
tell me, look, you need to go on ahead, lay off the podcast for a while, and
I'll tell
leave
you
that
that.
alone. Right. You tell me that, but no, it's like a drug, right? It's just our passion and our
Yeah.
drive that drives us into this certain point to where it's like, you know what, we have to get this done. This is our passion. This is what we want. This is what we believe in and everything. And we have to get this finished, or otherwise we're feeling like that we're letting the fans down, but not only letting the fans down, but also letting everybody else down around us.
Right.
So therefore, that's why we do what we do. And
Mhm.
I have to say, Stephanie, Erica, everybody that might be listening, you guys do a fantastic job of uplifting each other just from what
Oh
I've been watching. I said, I know
gosh.
I don't comment much in the group or whatever. I'm basically socially awkward in the groups chats and stuff like that, but I do watch. So just seeing you guys uplift Creighton and being there for them and stuff,
Hmm.
him and stuff like that, and you being there for them, that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like a big, huge family that you
Hmm.
want on set, and that's just fantastic.
Yeah. And like you can, it's not like one of them things because I've been doing this for a long many moons, and you know, it's very rare where that niche of people will come up to each other and just say, I love you, and they really mean it. It's not like you meet somebody at a party and it's like, yeah, hook me up. I'll see you on Facebook, and send me a message. We'll do lunch, and they, no, we speak to each other and we talk to each other like family and we watch over each other. I mean, that's just the way it is. And to have that, it's just in this industry like this, it is such a rare gift. I will say it. It's a rare gift from God, honestly.
I agree with
It's a
you. It is a
miracle.
rare gift and everything, and also too, when you look at big budget studios and everything like that, I mean, you sometimes hear about clashing, sometimes you hear about drama
Sure.
on the set and stuff like that. This person's not getting along with the other person, but this actually is 100% a legit crew that loves you and adores you and feels like family, and that's the type of people that you want to be around. And I think that's actually just fantastic, to be honest, because you don't hear that a lot in the big industries.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right. Yeah, I can't help it. Uh, God, John, you brought tears to my eyes, man. I was like,
hey, I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being
yeah,
honest.
thinking about them. And I mean, like, yeah, for real. Look, man, you brought, that's a tear, man. I mean, seriously, and it's it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I wish that the entertainment industry, I wish there was more like this, more, you know, companionship, more bonding, and less drama, and less, things like that. I think if people who's out there and they're watching this or they make films and stuff like that, you know, try to make it a point to really build a relationship because you know what? Later on down the road, you do another movie and you got a good friendship. Why
Exactly.
not? I mean, it's like, there's that chemistry, what, yeah, and it's like, hey, it's not like walking on set and you're like, I don't know these people, and
Right.
it's like you come up to them, you just hug them, and you're ready to go.
And Stephanie also says, I'm so thankful to be part of this movie. You are truly easy to work with and on an amazing, and also to an amazing person to work for. Absolutely was calm and comfortable after months of nervous moments and almost backing out. Thank you for being the best at this.
Oh, well,
And
I
that's
love
when,
you, Stephanie. Oh, I love her.
and let me just tell you this, Crichton, man. Here's the thing. You're the most humblest guy that I know when it comes down to directing films and things like that. And the way that you actually help some people to calm their nerves and things like that, that's the job of the director. That's the job of the director, of trying to get the best performance from their actors and
Right.
actresses. If they're nervous or anything like that, that's not good to be nervous on set. It's not good to actually
Hmm.
walk on eggshells on set. Otherwise, it throws everybody else off balance, to their
Yeah.
equilibrium is like basically they
Yeah.
can't do their job that they need to do.
Right. I
So
mean, yeah. I mean, anytime that an actor or an actress is nervous or on set, you can see it in film. And you should know that, John. Like, you ever watch the movie and you're kind of like, yeah, I get the point, but why am I not sold on it? And it's
right.
nerves. The actor or actress was, like, they just couldn't deep dive and get into what they were supposed to be doing. So, if I know that it takes about 10 or 15 more or 30 minutes even just to make them breathe, relax, or like James Keating, who plays Brian in the history, if I'm like, dude, go take a power nap. Just go take a power nap. That's his favorite thing. Power nap. Yeah, that dude can fall asleep on the street and be like, and I'm like, he'll be good in 30 minutes, I promise. And he's good.
But you know what though, James is great. It seems like a great guy to be around. The energy that he has, just based off of what I see on the
Mhm.
set stuff, and also too with him and Erica, the dynamic between the two of them is just awesome. Like I said, I watch a lot
Mhm.
of the stills. I watch a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
He does an awesome job. They both do on
Oh,
set.
yeah. They do. It's just amazing. And you can really see it. You can just, both of their performances is just outstanding because, Erica and James, they are the two leads in this movie. And they got to carry a lot of the weight on them. You know what I mean? So they got to carry this movie on with them. So of course they want to do the best they can and that kind of thing. And as long as James gets the power nap on, wherever, and Erica has an energy drink, we're good to film. I'm like rolling action. They're good.
Exactly. Another thing though too is I know that there was some other things going on around the set and everything from what I've heard and everything, where basically another actor was trying to make you do things that you don't want to do
Right.
and
Right.
everything, and because he thought he was a big Hollywood uh, actor, that he wanted to have these special cameras, he wanted to have all this other stuff for him, and everybody else was just comfortable around each other and everything and felt like family. It's just that one person that feels like a Loki, where he wants to cause mischief and everything on set, you know. But I if you have that kind of person on set, that's someone that you definitely don't need on the set.
I
And
agree.
the last time I checked, you're the director. You're the one who says
Hmm.
what goes and what doesn't go. And if that person's requesting X amount of stuff, and then also too with your budget at the way it is, you're you're actually feeding someone that doesn't belong, and
Yeah.
therefore, and basically that hurts you in a way, and it also hurts the cast and crew and
Hmm.
everything too. But I know that you want to talk about some of this. What
Right.
tell everybody about this
You
though.
okay? So I do want to make this public because but I'm going to give a a politically correct answer, right? But it's an answer because I feel a responsibility to the fans, the people who supported me all throughout the years, the people I've mentored throughout the years, the people I've worked with, the people I know. They want to know what you know about this person who was on the poster and who was supposed to work in there, right? So, according to this individual, he did not. I sent him a message, and to make a long story short, I simply told him I do not believe the quality of our filming and equipment is not to your standards. So, therefore, I resend my offer to you. And I left it at that. And then, of course, he replied, well, He didn't reply ugly or nothing. He just made it, you know, I don't want to get into what he said,
Right,
but put
right.
it like this, it was very unprofessional.
Hmm.
It was, and it reminded me of an old country saying. Um, he's out there scratching with the chickens.
All right.
Now, if you don't know what that means, you can Google it.
I'll do that later.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But it kind of reminds me of goes back over to the Bruce Willis and Stallone trouble that they had on the Expendables.
yeah.
Because let's just put it this way: Bruce Willis has been phoning it in for a while. He's been playing
Mhm.
himself rather than playing the character. And
Yeah.
then get this: Stallone's made him sign a contract. You get this X amount of money. He signed
Yeah.
off on that X amount of money during filming. When Bruce Willis went on ahead and came in and everything, still he wanted to go ahead and want extra money from Stallone. Stallone said, "No, you're not going to get extra money from me. You signed for this amount of money. That's what you get, and that's what you're going to
Mhm.
stick with. If you don't like it, you can go on ahead and hit the door where the sun don't
Yeah.
shine." And that's
Mhm.
exactly what he did. He went on ahead and recasted Bruce Willis' role, or just removed that role in
Yeah.
general, that character.
Mhm.
But still, it goes hand in hand on what you went through.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, your equipment, there was nothing wrong with it. Even I have to own up to that too. There's nothing wrong with your equipment. Even Stephanie
Yeah.
says there's nothing wrong with your equipment either. It's
Right.
just
Thank
that
you.
to his standards and everything,
Right.
it has to be this top-notch equipment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
looking at this person's career and everything, he hasn't played in anything major to where he can actually say that he actually can work with high quality stuff. I'm just going to point that out
Love you,
there.
John. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I'm okay with people making independent film projects. As a matter of fact, I'm an indie project stuff myself and everything in a film festival and things like that. I have
Right.
nothing against them. They're doing a fantastic job at
Yeah.
the film festival that I'm actually a part of. I root for them every single day for them to get themselves known and everything too. But when it comes down to this one actor who played in something that was popular in the 90s, and then all of a sudden he's doing like all these B-rated films and not doing anything like on the theatrical level to where
Right.
he's the face of the
Yeah.
bill.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Mhm.
And
Right.
there's a reason why he hasn't made it the way he is after 20 or 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything's because of this,
Yeah.
And Randy already she said, "I agree with Jeremy Lennon better keep his nose down." But
I
yeah,
didn't say the name.
right. But yeah, I pretty much gave her a rough cut of what happened
Right. Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. Right.
But still, she respects you just like I respect you and everything. I
That's
have to
sweet.
agree with you
Thank you.
110% on it, on what you
Yeah.
had to do.
Well, and another thing too is, as a director, right? Part of your job is to protect your cast, to protect your crew. You don't
Hmm.
because you've when you're making a movie, you kind of got this, right? So in this circle, you can make your movie of, imagination. But you got to protect and make sure that nothing comes in to hurt you and hurt your cast and crew.
Right.
And, you know, like I, I would say 99% of them, everybody on there, they look at me as dad. And, I would be a real crappy dad if I would invite a snake into the house or invite something harmful to us. I'm not going to let it happen. I will not. And that is never going to happen with me because, the way I am, and if you've watched How Many Chances, you'll know if I say I love you, I mean it. That means I will step out in front of a vehicle and just to save your life. And that's the way I feel about each and every one of them. My cast and crew. I really do.
That's a great thing to have, Creighton. Seriously, I already know that you're 100%. You don't just tell people you love them. You show them with your actions, and actions speak louder than words.
Mhm.
And that's something that I can say that I really am happy that I actually have you as a friend, and also too, someone that's in this industry that treats people on equality, pretty much on how
Yeah.
everybody is being treated. And I love that
Mhm.
about you, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Thank
And
you.
then you're very welcome. And then Stephanie also says, I have worked with two other directors and nothing other than lights were different, one camera, one mic, and one PA. You're way better prepared. Brian can fit in all the small spaces for what he for a cast cast, and pretty much anything that you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's one of those things. I mean, I caught like the first half of it, but because I froze up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Probably people watching is like, why is Creighton making this face? You know,
But another thing though too is I know there was a WWE wrestler, and
Mhm.
and I helped, and you also helped him with a lot in his career. His name was
Yeah.
Edward Fato. He has, and I know
Yeah.
that I know he passed away
Mhm.
and everything too.
Yeah.
His character in wrestling in the WWE was Omega. I think that's how you
Yeah.
say his name.
Umaga. Yeah.
Omega, yeah.
Umaga. Yeah.
And he was in that main event when Donald Trump and Vince McMahon fought.
Yeah.
But I know he helped you a lot, and
Mhm.
stuff like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
Uh, yeah, I can elaborate on that.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, because with me, I don't like bragging about who I've helped, who I've done that. Because you hear that a lot. It's like I've worked with this person, I've done this, and I, and I've always just been like, you know, yeah, they just like me for me, shooting them honesty. I've always liked that.
right.
So, and but like Eki, right, or Edward Fatu. Yeah, I called him Eki. So
Okay.
that's who I'm talking about. Eki, he was 100% Polynesian, right, and he sucked at promo. Like, give him a mic, no good. He couldn't do it. He just could not do it. So I helped him with it. I was like, look, if you don't have to be on the mic, don't do it. But if they do, I was like, pick out one person in the crowd. And then if you're being a bad guy, then go with that just for a little while and then pass the mic on. I would help him with his stage presence. I would be like, you know, this is what you do, try this, try that. And as he would listen, and like when we'd be at his house and stuff like that, eating barbecue. Oh, Polynesian barbecues are awesome. Yeah, they really are. Oh my gosh. As they're almost as good as cannolis. But but so it's like that's the way I am, and knowing that the things that he learned from me, and when I would see it on WWE, and when I talked to him on the phone, I was like, so is it working out? And he was like, yeah, it's working out. Ooh, so that to me is when I help somebody and I see them spread their wings and fly, and I had a little piece, just a small touch in that. That's what makes me happy. That's what it's like. Even if they just fly for a little while, you know what? Their dream just they touched it and they got it, and that's more than what a lot of people can say.
That's true. That's very true, because I have goals and stuff like that instead of mine for everything I do and things like that.
Mhm.
So even if I just touch something just for a minute or two, at least I
Mhm.
can say that I had a taste of it. And if that's the taste that I
Sure.
want, I'll stick with it. If not, you know what? It's not for me. I'll just move on and do something else. But that's also the
Sure.
beauty of actually helping somebody else, though, too,
Mhm.
that comes to you. It's like, hey, can you help me out with this or help me out with that? And then they touch it just for a moment. And then they can choose if they want to do it or not. That's the
Mhm.
great thing about it. And also, too, I have a
Yeah.
saying, too, is this: if I have to brag about if that person has to brag about what they're doing, then you
Yeah.
don't need to be doing it at all, because
Exactly. Yep.
you know. But you know, I feel like this: people are humility, people that care about each other. That is something that is missing in today's time
Right.
about caring for people. You care about people. You
Yeah.
legitimately care about people. You care about the
Yeah.
staff and crew. You care about me. You care about everybody and
Hmm.
everything, and everybody cares about you. It's a
Thank you.
100-100 situation where
Yeah.
you care about them 100%. They're going to take care of you 100% because they're family, and that's what family does. And that's a
Hmm.
beautiful thing. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing,
Yeah. That's
to be
right.
honest.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
let's see here. I know that Penelope House. You're doing something with Penelope House. Can you please
Yeah.
explain that?
Yeah. We've updated our website and we've made the announcement, in the history that haunts us.com. Shameless plug. And but like we are working hand in hand with Penelope House. Now, Penelope House is a place for women and children who has been domestically abused and who has been mentally, abused as well, from relationships and stuff like that and terrible situations. And we've gotten permission that in the movie we are putting up the 1-800 number, for people in America. And it's like, look, if you're in a domestic abusive situation, call this number. They'll find somebody to come and help you. I mean, uh, so to me, I think that's a absolutely beautiful thing. Now, in this, and this is a spoiler, but in this movie, okay, I show some domestic abuse because I just knew in my heart and I knew in my soul that I would bring awareness to this. And also, there's another itty bitty spoiler that's coming straight from the horse's mouth, right? You're going to see things of purple. I'm not going to tell you where. That's up to the viewer to watch and have fun and see it. But they're going to see purple to represent awareness for domestic violence. So I wanted to put that in there.
I like that, to be honest with you. I like that you
Hmm.
actually show some type of color scheme to actually help with domestic abuse and things like that. I'm also too am actually happy that somebody else is actually doing something about domestic abuse and everything too. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, you know me, I'm a big advocate for mental health, things like that. I have
Hmm.
BetterHelp as my sponsor and everything too.
Yeah.
But it's just good to actually someone that they can actually relate to is, hey, look, I'm not the only one going through this domestic abuse situation. So now there's actually help. I can actually seek help, not have to hide it and not feel embarrassed
Hmm.
about it at the same time. So
That's right.
that is a beautiful thing. And also too, to have a color scheme in there, just to have that
Yeah.
in there is just awesome to actually see
Hmm.
that. Because I can, believe it or not, I did see the behind the scenes part with the domestic violence part, but I didn't see the effect yet or anything like that. But I can imagine
Right.
how that's going to be played out, and that's just going to
Hmm.
be amplifying more to that violence that character is going to be going through. So I
Hmm.
think that that's actually pretty cool that you would actually have something like that in your film to actually
Yeah.
represent domestic violence.
Right. That's right. Yeah. And so yeah, we're just all happy, ecstatic, being able to work with Penelope House and create awareness against domestic abuse and show, you know, there's help out there. And we're gonna, if everybody at the history that haunts us can have a little, help, a helping hand, you know what I mean? That's great. That's what I love. I love it. So we're honored to work with them.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
you're very welcome. So now I know that you have a little bit of a filmography on your chest and everything too on what you do. But my question is this: you've made films for over 20 years.
Hmm.
So I'm just curious about something here. Why have you not taken credit for some of the movies that I know you have worked on?
Okay. So I'm one of those people where if I help you with something, I'm doing it because I want to do it. It's out of my heart, right? Uh, and I would much rather see you succeed versus me get credit. My credit is where, it's, I've always made a joke, around my, mom and dad. And they would fuss at me and be like, why don't you get credit for this? And I said, well, if they ever become rich and famous, they're going to invite me over for Thanksgiving and I'm going to clean them out. I'm like, boy, they're going to feed me till I puke, you know? So but that's just me joking. But I don't ever expect anything because my joy is where I get to see them succeed. And that's why I like these other celebrities, in which I was nervous about with how many chances. Like I now left them up on YouTube, like when they endorsed me, just those a couple of them, that they endorsed me. I have a running history somewhere, with them, and we all email and chat and that kind of thing, and other people as well. But they know that I'm good to my word. And it's like I can call them at any time and I'll be like, you want to work on a movie? And they would be like, what are you making? I don't know. You got to tell me your weird ideas, Creighton, first, It's like, you come up with some strange things,
Right.
But that's the way it is. And, you know, they understand that kinship. But anyway, that's me. That's why I don't have like this gargantuan IMDb thing. The only reason I got it up there right now, to be honest with you, is yeah, when the documentary came out, there was a few people that played extras in it, that done reenactments and stuff like that, and I wanted to help their career. That's the only reason I got an IMDb. I could care less, me personally.
Right. Because
But I put
right.
it up there so they could have reference, and that would make them feel good. And you know what? I'm glad I've got one now because now I've got gobs of actors and actresses that I can add on there. Be like,
That's great though,
oh,
man, because it actually helps you. I know that IMDb is a great source whenever it comes down
sure,
to looking at other actresses, independent actresses, actors, and stuff like that that's in this industry. But you just never know once you open up
yeah,
that account on how many doors it could actually kick open for you.
right. That's right. You never know. You never know. So, and to me, I'm like, that's why I hope it makes sense. Did I make sense or did I confuse
Yeah.
you?
No, no, no.
Okay.
You didn't confuse me at all.
Okay. I hope I didn't confuse any of your, listeners or viewers. And we're like,
No, no, no,
this guy's as crazy as the Mad Hatter.
no. Well, you might be, but but you
Well,
still made sense.
yeah, I write all kind of weird stuff.
But still, though. You
Yeah.
made a lot of sense though on why you don't take credit and everything, and I think that's good though too. You're all about
Yeah.
helping other people. We talked about that before, and I think
Hmm.
that that's actually great that you want to help other people rather than help yourself sometimes and
Yeah.
everything, and give them the credit versus giving yourself the credit and
Yeah.
everything. It's so easy for us to give us the pat on the back and everything, or give
Yeah.
yourself on the back and everything
Yeah.
instead of giving credit to the other people that actually help you
Hmm.
be better for
Right.
yourself and everything.
Hmm.
So that's actually a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Let's see. And let's see. There's also something else I wanted to bring up too, though. I know that Brad Arnold, the lead singer of Three Doors Down,
Yeah.
was a little nervous and everything, and you helped him out. So
Yeah.
I would like to actually know what you elaborated with him about, because I never
Yeah.
knew that you were this big rock star kind of guy where you were going around helping people with
Yeah.
their
Right.
cinematography or their music and everything. So I'm kind of curious about what you told him.
Okay, so when he first got him Three Doors Down first got signed with Universal Studios, right? I always okay. So before he got signed, he was the drummer, so he didn't really get out in front of the people like when he was doing it before. he signed. So when he got signed, they was like, no, you got to perform. And he's like, I just drum and sing, and I'm like, oh God. So he called me and he was like, Creighton, I don't, you got any ideas or what to do? And so I was like, okay, show me, and it wasn't that good. I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't that good. It
Who did a
wasn't.
better job though as the PR? Would it be the person from WWE, or would it be who had the better performance, Baron Arnold or the
Brad,
WWE?
Brad, honestly, yeah, because yeah, I swear to God, he's like he. I swear to you, he's like Erica and James, right? When they do their first take, I give them the look like, God, we're gonna no, okay. And usually I have to come over to Erica and be like, hun, don't look so angry, don't be so mad looking, dear. And then I'm like, James, do you need a nap? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right, and so like that's but like but with Brad, that's the way he was. But after about that third or fourth time of him practicing, it was like putting on a sock. It really was. You know how you can just put on socks in the morning and get up and go? That's the way
Right.
it was. And it just stuck and it went in his brain. And when he went out there to perform, he just got better and he got better and he had crafted more. And then he started making more money and he started taking advice from, I guess, I don't know, whoever it is. But, when you become, the rich rock star, you can blow money on all kinds of stupid things. I'm like,
Right.
he called me. My God, he called me at 3 a.m. I picked up the phone. I was like, hello. And he's like, hey, man, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sleeping. What do you want, Brad? And he was like, I'm playing video games with Puff Daddy. I don't care. And I was like, man, yeah, quit calling me this. I don't know. Maybe most people are like, why would you do? But that's why I call. He knows. He's probably laughing.
Right.
The
Matter of fact, I actually got to see Three Doors Down about 3 years ago. So
3 and 3, yeah,
yeah, about
sequence
three.
film,
I want to say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I have to
yeah,
say, Brad has gotten better since the last time we saw
yeah,
him. So
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah. But it's and also too. It actually, when we come down to the performance level and stuff like that, in order for you to step out into the open, you have to have it to where people will believe that's who you are.
yeah,
And everything, because if you don't separate yourself
yeah,
from that character or vice versa, you're
yeah.
just playing yourself, and therefore it can take people out of it because of the fact that
Mm-hmm.
they're not believable enough
Right,
and
that's
everything
right.
too. But yeah,
And
right.
another reason this movie, yeah, like, and what you're saying relates to what I'm fixing to say is like, when you do when Hollywood does a movie, you don't get to, you will sort of sometimes if you're the A-list actor or whatever, but they're not going to show you what, because there's the director behind there.
Okay, I don't know what Creighton did, but I think he got a little too excited. I'm hoping that he comes back. I'm gonna have to see what he did. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go on ahead and see what's going on with Crichton real quick. We actually went on ahead and lost him, but I'm hoping that I can get him back. Let me see 1 second on what's going on here. I think we actually have a Loki in the building. Let's see. I'm working on something right now. All right, so hopefully we'll have Crichton back here in a few minutes. But hopefully he doesn't come back and make up or anything like that to scare me half to death. So, um, trying to think what I can do here. Oh, here he comes.
Oh, okay. I'm back. The
I
history.
thought,
Yeah, hey, I'm the ghost of Christmas past. I showed back up. Yeah,
you know what
sorry.
though, man? I thought I would have to do the Macarena or something before you came over here. I
Hey, Macarena,
because
start doing the 80s,
right.
yeah.
But you know what though? I actually had a tech issue a while back and everything where I had Alex on the show and we were reviewing a movie, and all of a sudden I left, and then Alex was singing "All by Myself" by Celine Dion. So apparently we have karaoke night on Movie Celebrity Night sometimes. So so anyways, like you were trying to tell everybody, whenever it comes down to separating yourself from the character and everything, tell me more. And I think we lost him again.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no. Can you see me? I'm
Yeah.
here.
Okay, I can see you. You're
Can you
good.
hear me?
Yeah,
I'm
I can
here.
hear you. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's like he's back, Wi-Fi, But when an actor or an actress, right? It's like a little on and off switch. They got to turn it on to pretend, right? And then when it's like that's a wrap, that's a wrap for the scene or whatever, they got to be able to turn it off. And it's kind of a tricky thing because sometimes you'll do a scene and you like if an actor or an actress and any director will tell you this, we're all human. We all have souls, right? And it'll tear you up because you got to sometimes take your mind and your heart to a dark place to make those tears and to give that reaction to make it believable. And like, there's some directors too. I mean, I've seen it. I have seen it in my years. They'll make the actor and actress sit there for an hour crying just so they can get that one magic money shot for 10 seconds. And it's horrible. I mean, like, I don't, me, oh my God, I'm a softie. I'll cry. I ain't gonna lie. So
I think I will too, to be honest with you. And not only that, but that's like Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos, for instance. His his wife winds up dying on the TV set
yeah.
on the show, and he actually had to actually think of a memory to where he could cry
Hmm.
and everything, and therefore they had to do about 4 or 5 different takes, I believe, just to get
Yeah.
that one scene
You get that one thing. Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, separating yourself from the character is a hard thing to
It
do, and then
is.
also too, and then trying to come back from what you did and then calm yourself down. That's also another level of acting that is part
Hmm.
of that too.
Yeah. And see, like that to me, there's the distinct difference between Hollywood corporate, I guess you would say, and independent. Okay, now when I say independent studios, of course, to each their own. Everybody has their favorite style of clothes. Is the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Some studios are very 70s and flamboyant, and then some are very, you know, uh, old school. But most of the time, when you work with indie and someone has to do a scene like that, your support is there. You're the people that has got your back, the people that love you that will be there. And it's like, you need an hour, go take it. I don't care, but when you're with corporate, they're like, be back. Call time is 30 minutes.
Yep.
And you're like, thanks, pal. I just had to think of somebody I love that passed away. I got 30 minutes to come back and do a dildo scene. Thank you, prick. I mean, I'm telling you, yeah,
right, exactly.
This is why I don't get along with Hollywood people. The Hollywoods.
Yep.
I
You're in the
blurt
wrong
them
industry
out.
if you're doing dildo talk.
Yeah, I call it straight with them.
Right.
But this is why I'm good with independent and doing my thing, because people who work with me, they know I'm going to protect you. I'm going to
Right.
help you, and I'm
It's
going to
true.
do what I got to do to make this not only good for everybody filming it, but for everybody that's going to watch it. Because you know what? If you're going to pay good money that you went out there and worked and earned, I'm going to give you the best. And I want you to enjoy it and forget about life for 2 hours. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. Unless you're like Christopher Nolan or someone like
Right.
that, studios will actually give you creative control because they actually
Hmm.
saw what you established. Or James Wan, for instance, they see
Yeah.
what you actually established, and therefore they're going to give you more creative control. But sometimes corporates will be like, you know what, we don't want to go down this direction or anymore. Before you know it, they're looking for another director. And also, too, budgets and stuff like that also happen every single day in the industry as well. Like for instance,
Hmm.
with the director Andy Muschietti, he came in there after another director wanted to direct it. There was going to be this other director who was going to wanted it shot in New York,
Uh,
and the studio said, no, absolutely not. We're not going to have this shot in New York. It's going to cost millions of dollars just to shut the roads down,
you're
basically.
right.
He goes,
Yeah.
and the director said, no, it's got to be in New York or else I'm not doing the film. So guess what? They went on and said, see ya. So they got Andy Muschietti to go on ahead and do the both Stephen King's It movies. So that's why they did it.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
it's fair game on both levels when you look at
Sure.
it from different perspectives. But also,
Hmm.
too, with being an indie director in itself, you have more creative control over
Right.
your through everything, through the
Yeah.
marketing, through the way that you want to actually let the audience perceive things, and also too the way that you want to actually do a scene. Whenever maybe Hollywood's like, you know what, we need to
Yeah.
cut that scene out because guess what, it's going to cost us this much money to do it.
Yeah.
Perfect example is Forrest Gump. They didn't want to have that big, huge running scene with Forrest Gump
Yeah.
and everything.
Hmm.
So
I
therefore, they
know.
actually had to go undercover to actually do
Hmm.
that running scene. And the next thing you know, Paramount Pictures actually caught on to it and said, hey, look, what's up with all these people running and everything? We don't have the budget for it. But after a
Yeah.
while, they actually went on and said, okay, you know what? You guys can have it. But still, you
And
want
paid
to
off
be
for, yeah. And it paid
right.
off for them. They made millions among millions.
Exactly.
So
But that's my point, though. You need to have, with indie directors and indie actors and actresses, you need to do what's best for you
right.
and your actors and actresses and everything, and you care for them. And there wouldn't be this one-on-one time like you would get with these big budget studios compared to a smaller indie film and everything.
Hmm.
And that's something that I feel like is
Yeah.
missing is you're missing the interaction with a director. You're missing the interaction and getting to know somebody. It's pretty much like, yeah, I did the job and that's it, and move on to the
Yeah.
next job.
And see, and that's something, I can't even tell you how many directors that I know. And that's what it is. They're like, this is a job. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, if it's just a job, then you're in it for the money. Sorry, pal. I mean, you're not in it for the love, and you might have great, wonderful talent, but when you love something, it's kind of like cooking. When somebody gives you a homemade cooking and they put love in it, you can taste it. You can taste that love,
Yes.
that soul food, right?
Right.
But you go to, somebody cooks you homemade fried chicken with turnip greens and they cook you some love soul food, right?
Or that Italian food, that
Yeah.
Italian food
Oh,
dish.
yeah. But
Or
if
like
it's
like my
homemade,
grandmother used to make. Yeah. That
yeah. But then you go to KFC and you pick up the same exact thing, you're like, you eat it, and then it's like an hour later, you're like, why am I still hungry?
right. Or you have a Karen who just puts uh raisins in their potato salad when they don't doesn't need to have raisins in the potato salad.
Right.
It just tastes bland. Your stuff tastes bland, so therefore you're going to go on ahead and fill it with something else, and that's exactly
Right.
what you don't need when it comes down to certain
Yeah.
aspects of the film industry and everything, because
Hmm.
it could feel generic, it could feel
Yeah.
bland and everything. And I've actually witnessed a movie that I watched recently and everything, and it was very bland.
Bland. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
there's no layers to a
Hmm.
character that I watched,
Right. Yeah.
and it felt very one note, no layers to him at all. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I've seen this movie before. This is just Crank with a female actress, and that's it. That's all it is. And there's no meat to digest to where you say, you know what, I'm hungry for more. I want to see what develops with this character. I want to care about this character. Let me be
Yeah.
glued in, dialed into this character. No, it's just very bland on some aspects of
Mhm.
certain movies that we
Right.
watch.
Oh yeah. And ooh, yeah. Like there's some directors out there, and they literally shoot a movie in one day.
Speaking of that, I wanted to ask you about that. What?
Oh,
Okay, what's this I'm hearing about? You can shoot a movie in one day. The movies that I've
oh,
been seeing, get this, the movies I've been seeing on the independent film festivals that I'm actually at, I know it takes longer than one day to do all the visuals that they have to do and everything.
right.
So, tell me about this.
I okay. Oh my god. So there are actual people. They call themselves, and they are directors. If you're behind the camera, you're a director, I guess, or just you got nothing else to do. I guess I don't know. I can't figure out the logic, but they make movies, a 45-minute or hour-long movie, in one day. One day. Now, granted, when you see these movies, it's kind of like one-liners. It's like, "Hi, how are you? I'm doing great. That's wonderful. Would you call Billy Bob? No, let's go get barbecue instead." There's no. I mean, it's like cut dry, cut dry, cut dry. It's a complete one-liner movie. Then if there's like, well, we don't have any more dialogue, so let's just get this person humping a tree. Or it's like it's craziness, and it's like they have these. I think what they're doing is they're just grabbing for anything and throwing it out there and hoping whatever they make sticks, you know, that they'll have a one hit wonder. I mean, what? I can't hear you, John.
I said even Velcro has its limits on sticking to things after a while.
Yeah,
It
Scotch
eventually
tape
falls off.
will fall off. Yeah, and there's some of them that they shouldn't even been put
Right.
up, honestly. And yeah, and I can understand like being in a hurry if you're on a timeline or deadline, that's understandable. But God Almighty, take some time, because if you would just, shoot the film in like 2 days, it would probably be a heck of a lot better, honestly.
Right. Not only that, but it also shows no effort into what you're doing
None.
and no passion, no drive. All you're
And
doing is filming something. Hopefully it sticks. Maybe somebody will grab it, but what are they grabbing onto is the main thing. What's your main focus point on what they're grabbing and trying to get?
yeah,
Because
and
if you're doing that kind of dialogue, you're not going to get anything out of it.
what's so hurtful is that there's so many actors and actresses out there that's just so thirsty for doing anything, right? They're just looking for anything that they can put on IMDb and their demo reels and stuff like that, right? So they can move on to bigger, better things. So they'll take these things, they'll take these one day shoots. But what they don't realize is that it hurts them, because you, look, you put that on the demo reel, casting director will be like, wait, that's that person that did this movie in one day. Nope. Yeah,
Right. Because chances is that
no,
dialogue
no.
that they have.
Cast
Right.
there's like,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
but yeah, it's just like that dialogue is just not going to flow the way that it needs to flow, especially if it's just a one note kind of dialogue, like you
yeah.
mentioned. It's not going to stick its landing at
Mm-mm.
all.
No,
And that's not good because
no.
then, like you said, it's not going to make the directors work with them or anything like that. They're hoping that they can get
Yeah.
something done, but how can you get something done if you're having something on a one note kind of thing?
Right. And, I mean, it's hilarious to me, to watch stuff like that. I mean, because, yeah, some parts of it are good, and I'm like, but It's like, why? I don't get it. Nobody does.
So my other thing before we close out and everything too, I was wondering too, what other stuff do you have that you wanted to talk about with the history that haunts us?
Well, okay, so for those of you who may or may not know, all right, I'll give it the synopsis. Basically, there is a character, Brian, who is played by James H. Keating, sorry. Sorry, Brian. And I'm apologizing to the character. Sorry, Brian. Oh, God. And then there's Jennifer, who is played by Erica Green. And she is like my daughter. I'm not gonna lie. She is. I look at her as my daughter, and they are both phenomenal in this movie. But anyway, Brian and Jennifer, they are. Jennifer is a medium, but
And
she's not like a full fledged, straight up medium. You know what I mean? You're gonna see how powerful she does become. And there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns in this. I'm not giving away spoilers, but I'm going to give you a taste. Like John said earlier, I'm a tease. And oh, I made that sound sexy, didn't I?
you're getting over your head.
Okay, yeah. All right. So you get to see this character build up, right? But you're also going to be introduced to other characters. It's like going to be a story within the story. And you're going to, once you, hopefully, if you're not confused, then by the end of the movie, this is what I hope as a director, that you will have be overloaded and that you're going to sit there and watch it with somebody and y'all could sit there and talk for about 3 hours saying, did you see that? It's going to be one of those movies. And the other person is going to be like, no, there was an Easter egg in there. Where? And then you're both going to have to go back the next day and watch it. And even after two people watch it together, y'all meet up with your friends, they're going to have a whole new perspective of things. So if it's a movie like that, like I've made a Game of Thrones type movie, you know what I mean? Where there's just so much you can clinch to and grab at and say, this is my favorite. This is, I feel like I've done my job.
Exactly. And you know what, though? I feel like that's what is missing nowadays, too, speculation, which is what I said
Mm-hmm.
yesterday in the review I did for Alone.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, we're at this time now where everything has to be explained to us. We
Right.
can't use our imaginations because guess what?
Mm-hmm.
We want things to be spoon fed to us, or
Yeah.
other audiences want things food spoon fed to them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I like speculation. I like using my imagination. I don't like something that has to be explained to me. I like a director that
Right.
knows its audience and also
Mm-hmm.
to not only know his audience, but also not to make them feel like they're dumb. To where it's like, oh well, you remember this scene right here? Well, guess
Right.
what? We're gonna show you back that scene. No, let that scene be that scene, and let us move on,
Mm-hmm.
and let's have that mystery aspect to where we can
Yeah.
speculate even further down the line, to where
Mm-hmm.
that one thing represents it back over to that other scene that we can rely on our own selves to reflect back on.
Right. I agree. Yeah. And see, and that's where my influence from Alfred Hitchcock comes in. Leave it to the
Hey, Alfred
imagination.
Hitchcock is great.
I mean, hey, he never went to film school, and neither did I. And here
There
I
you go.
am, and it,
You're doing great, man. You're doing a fantastic job of what
thank
you're doing.
you.
You have great people. You have great people around you that surrounds you, that cares about you and loves you, and everything. Is there anything else that you want to mention before we close out?
Um, I just want to tell everybody who's watching that we are getting close to finishing it. And once we're finished, it'll be out to the whole wide world for everybody to see and watch. I would say something that's totally original, something you're not going to expect, and something that you're going to probably have to watch twice because why? It's only the history that haunts us that could do it.
That needs to be in the trailer, to be honest with you. That little tag at the end needs to be at the end of a trailer or something because you sold it and everything. But here's the thing: where can everybody follow you at if they want to follow you?
They can go to our website, www.thehistorythathaunts us, and we've got the links to Facebook and Instagram and I don't know all the other stuff.
It's okay.
But basically, I know Facebook. I'm old. Yeah. I know Facebook, it's like
Basically, you guys can go over to the History That Haunts Us on Facebook and everything and follow Creighton over
website.
there. And the website too. And the website too. And the website as well. So with that being said, guys, do us this one big favor. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Also, too, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little bell there that lets you guys get notified whenever I'm doing something live, which is pretty much daily that I do shows and everything. But another thing, too, is you guys can go on ahead and follow me underneath Facebook at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there. And then, of course, on Instagram, underneath the same brand name and on Pinterest as well. But if you want to, go on ahead. I teamed up with Two Blur Girls podcast to donate some money towards the people that lost their homes in Louisiana and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so all the proceeds, if you get yourself a Cincy, goes over to the victims and people who lost their homes from Hurricane Ida. So, but if you guys want to show me some love as well, just go on ahead, donate five, maybe $10 towards us, just to keep the lights on here at Movie Lovers Unite. All you do is just go to www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Podcast, and that's how you can donate $5 to $10 over there. But a simple like, a simple share goes a long way, and also subscribing goes a long way too. Thank you a lot, Miss Shirley, for saying that you enjoyed my show. That means a lot to me. That's Creighton's mom.
That's my mama.
Yeah, that's your mom. Talking about dildos in front of your mom.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh.
Shame.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You're grounded by the end.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, guys, if you guys want to, go on ahead and get my audio only podcast and everything. You guys can go on ahead and rate that at Apple Podcasts and wherever you guys get your podcast from. But here's the thing. Go over to Good Pods and everything. If you like listening to podcasts, or if you're a podcaster yourself, go over to Good Pods and everything. Give us a rating over on Good Pods and tell us what you think. As a matter of fact, we can actually see the comments that comes in. If you don't like something you don't see, I can actually go on ahead and try to do a better job than what I'm doing. Then also, too, go on ahead tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm actually going to be doing an interview with an independent actress and everything too, and things like that. So go on ahead and get your fill over there. Of course, you guys can go on ahead, follow me underneath all the other places on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit, email me at movieloversunite@gmail.com, and that's everywhere you can reach me at. It's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. Thank you, Creighton, for joining me.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime, and have a good night, everybody.